Hello and welcome back to the Sumner County Sports Show, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. I'm your host, Blaine Keller, sports editor of the Gallatin News, Hendersonville Standard, and Portland Sun. We took a week off from the Sumner County Sports Show with the holiday. Hope you all had a wonderful Independence Day, a wonderful 4th of July, but we were back with a great show here, and we're kind of dipping away from baseball a little bit. We talked for the past month, I think, with Full Count head coach and general manager Josh Carman. That's been a delight. But through some scheduling and through some other things, life kind of happens for all of us. We're dipping our toes into football now that we are nearing the end of the dead period here. And what better way to kind of introduce us into the football season than talking with one of Sumner County's most recent college football commitments. It's Station Camp rising senior linebacker Sanders Ellis. Sanders, thank you so much for joining the show today. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing great. And I'm sure you're feeling even better, maybe a little bit relieved after your recent commitment to Murray State. I think that was about 4 days ago now. Just to start us off here, talk about your recruitment as a whole and what all went into that, leading to that recruitment.
So my recruitment was very stressful, as you can see. It was going pretty good, My first school was EKU that I got from a camp that I went to in Lebanon, and from there the ball just started rolling. And Murray State was my second school, so they showed a bunch of love. They stayed in contact with me, and so of course they were one of my top picks. And then I got Austin Peay, UT Martin, and Tennessee Tech, and all of those. So it wasn't an easy decision. So I picked where I felt like home was. I picked where I would fit in the best, and that's how I came out with my decision.
Yeah, you mentioned those schools that offered you there, the list: UT Martin, Austin Peay, Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee Tech, and Tennessee State on top of Murray State. You kind of talked about it there, but what all made Murray State stand out to you over the past couple of months?
So like I said, they stayed in contact with me. They always asked me how I was doing. They invited me to campus all the time. I was there 2 times, and they just felt like family. And another, going into the football aspect of it, they run a similar defense that we run at Station Camp. So transitioning from high school ball to college ball, it'll be easier for me, because it's basically the same defense that we run now. The calls are different, but it'll be easier to get down knowing the scheme and everything.
And having that familiarity with the scheme and kind of the ideologies, I guess, of that defense, how all do those coaches, in your conversations with them, how have they seen you slotting into their future with Murray State and their football program?
So based off watching my film, and just spectating, they seen that I would fit into their defense pretty good, And I had to sit down with Coach Sanders from Murray State, and we watched a little of their film, and I picked up what they were doing, and I learned a couple of things from them, basically.
Yeah, and you're coming off a great junior season at Station Camp, 107 total tackles, an all-state nomination for you on that football side in 5A. What do you think with your conversations with college coaches? What did they like most about you and your game?
So my main aspect that every coach loved was that I could shed blockers, and that I can take on 300-plus pound linemen and just get them off of me. And really my sprint to the ball, making the play, me being there every time, just my high motor that I play with, and just my IQ, like knowing, like film goes into a big part of how I make plays on the field. So knowing sequence, knowing what they're going to run, knowing where to be at all times, that's all went into my game. So they like that I knew where to be. They like how I finish tackles, how I make tackles, because I miss very few. So that's what they loved about my game. But the main thing was like just shedding blockers, not being took up by linemen.
Yeah, Sanders, you talk about shedding those 300-pound guys, and that's going to be a commonality in college football. You got to be pretty determined at a guy your size to keep doing that over and over again and running into those guys that, what's your mindset and your approach when going into something like that?
So my mindset every game is that I'm gonna make them give up by the second quarter. I'm gonna make them. My thing is I want them to avoid me. So first quarter on all my games you can watch, I'm coming straight at that lineman, straight at that guard that's in front of me. So I might not be worried about the ball the first drive because I'm gonna make him feel what I'm coming with. But
Yeah,
that's my mindset going into every game.
it's really interesting, to not so much focus on the ball, but focus on your opponent individually. Throughout your
Yes,
high school career, how have you seen that kind of pay off? Maybe have you seen some guys give up in the second quarter, like you said there?
yes, sir. So I've seen running backs give up. I've seen linemen give up. I've seen quarterbacks give up. So it paid off. So I might not have as many tackles in the first quarter, but as the game goes on, it opens up because the linemen that are supposed to be keying me or running past me or avoiding me. So it's just opening up the playing field for me. It make it much easier on me when I take care of business in the first quarter. Now I'm making plays all throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, and looking through the last 3 seasons for you at Station Camp, you've really been a part of this revival that Coach Alexander brought in with the Bison. Great year last year, really turnaround year 2 years ago. What do you feel like he brought to the program to help bring it back up to maybe what it's about to be and what it is now?
Not being satisfied. That's what he brought in. The main thing he told us to go places you haven't been. You got to do things you haven't done before. So all three of these off seasons that we've been doing is just about doing things we haven't done to go places that we haven't went. So that's the main mindset he brought to us, and we just been riding with it ever since. Like not being satisfied, going 110% in practice, and he made it clear that you practice how you play. So if you was out to come see one of our practices, it's like a game. Like we're not going half speed unless it's like a walkthrough day, but we're never going half speed. We're never half doing anything. It's like we're gonna do the things we haven't done before to go to places that we haven't been. And that's been the story.
Yeah, it's a great saying to have. From your freshman season to now entering, your final high school season at Station Camp, what do you feel like the biggest strides the Bison, your team, has taken throughout your high school career?
Commitment. So like my first year, I felt like the energy was that nobody was really committed. Nobody was all in. A lot of teams have that all in saying and quote, but and to be all in is a different type of thing. So that's the biggest thing that's changed. Everybody is worried about football. Like everybody is on board, everybody is on the mission. So once people start saying that we were serious and we're going after something bigger, we had people start quitting. We had people just say they didn't love the game anymore, and we really found out who was with us and who was going to ride with us through the seasons. So that's the biggest change we had is everybody being committed to our team. Everybody that's on the team is there with a purpose, with a mentality to win, with a mentality to get better. So that's
Yeah,
the
and
that's the biggest jump that we had since our first year.
overall, Sanders, how do you see that continuing now that Coach Alexander has moved on and Chris Bain, former top assistant under him, has been elevated to head coach? How do you see that kind of continuing this year, this fall for you guys?
So what? So Coach A leaving, the decision to make Coach Bain head coach just didn't change anything. So we're on the same mission. We didn't have to change any of our schemes, any plays, and we didn't have to change defense or offense. So I mean, it's still the same thing. And Coach Bain come with a fire. He's been having that fire with him since being an assistant head coach. So I mean, nothing changed for us. It's just a different title with a different coach.
Coach
But
Bain
in the
told me
same retrospect,
when he took the job, when Coach Bain was announced as the head coach, there was a bit of a dog pile that happened in the weight room. Just talk about the
mhm,
excitement that you guys had knowing that it was going to be a familiar staff, that there wasn't going to be a lot of turnover after Coach A left.
yes, sir. So when we heard Coach A was leaving, we were nervous. We didn't want to. So our team, we knew what we were setting out to do. So we going to state or making it through the playoffs isn't even a goal anymore. We were making that a standard. So we didn't want that to change. We didn't want a different culture because our culture has changed through the last 3 years. So we were worried, but as soon as they made Coach Bain the head coach, we knew that we were still on track. We still gonna do what we got to do. So that's why we're so excited. We had a great day in the weight room that day.
Well, whenever you look at this first year for Coach Bain, being the full time head coach, Station Camp moving from Class 5A football to Class 4A, of course, you got a couple of tough opponents in the region there with definitely Pearl Cone, the runner up from last year in the state in that classification. But moving down, do you see your team taking another jump this year compared to the last three?
Yes, sir. I do see us taking another jump, but our main thing this year was we're just because we moved down, we're not going to get complacent. We're going to play 4A ball like we're still in 6A 3 years ago. So how we were supposed to play in 6A, you know what I mean? So we're just not going to take our foot off the gas. Like we're going to play hard. We're going to play big boy football. So that's how we're going into this season.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're hoping that the best is yet to come this senior year, for your team and for you individually. But through the first 3 years, Sanders, what do you feel like your favorite high school moment has been?
Um, my favorite high school moment 2 years ago, we're playing Mount Juliet at home, and their kicker misses a field goal with 3 seconds left, about 30 yards away. That's probably my favorite moment. We win 28-27.
Yeah, I think that was really the year that Station Camp broke out. And, not even, at
Yes,
that
sir.
point, I wasn't someone in Sumner County, but around the mid state, you heard about how important that game was. I mean, just to prove that your team was legitimate. Just run me
Yes,
through the
sir.
emotions of the end of that game, just the excitement that you guys probably had.
End of that game was quite well. We had everybody rushing on the field, and I usually don't cry, but like I'm crying because like nobody believed in us that year. They thought every game was a fluke. We were getting lucky. We were just passing by, but we knew going into that game that when we win this game, they're gonna wake up. They're gonna know that we're actually for real. So that was the whole thing. Everything that we were doing, everything that we put into the game, that really paid the way for us to show everybody that we're not just this isn't the old Station Camp.
Well, you're nearing the end of the dead period right now for the Bison. About to get into your final preseason, true preseason there. Overall, what do you feel like you've been doing, and what do you think your teammates have been doing through the past 2 weeks to stay ready for this season?
So I recently learned that coaches let me know that running miles is good for you. So I start running miles. Of course I work out and I start trying to get more explosive, working my hips. Gotta stay mobile, and that's about it for me. Just staying consistent in what I do, changing my body to withstand the whole football season. Recovery is a big thing, but I want to be able to like I said, like hit linemen every week and be ready to do it the next week. So that's my main thing: building my body to with last 15 games. And for the rest of my team, it's basically the same thing. They want to get faster, they want to get stronger, and they're all putting in the work. You know.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it, your explosiveness, being agile in your hips. What other specific things do you feel like you've worked on this offseason? Maybe some things you realized after the end of your junior year you needed to improve on?
My discipline. So I would get I would get undisciplined sometimes during last season when I would be on a hot street of tackles, you know. So my eye discipline was the main thing I was focusing on this year. You know, usually somebody would be like, I want to get faster, stronger, but my main thing was like mentally, I wanna never be off. So I know my guys trust me to make a play and do the right thing. So my main thing was discipline. So being pretty hard on myself, you know, I got to stay disciplined. I got to read my keys and all that. So that was the main thing I was focused on.
When somebody says something like speed or you know, agility or strength, there's ways to improve upon that most people know. You can, like you mentioned earlier, running, lifting weights for strength
Mhm.
or things like that. But how do you improve upon your discipline?
So me and my brother, you know, I have, you know, you may not know my little brother Cody. So we match each other. So he plays like the guard and I play like the linebacker, and I match all his steps. I match every step, and that's how I've been staying. That's how I'm getting ready to stay disciplined. You know, people may watch film during season and then stop after season, but I watch film year round. So I'm always critiquing myself and, you know, trying to see what I can do better. So that's how I stay disciplined. That's how I know what I need to work on. That's how I know what I need to get better at. Is because I watch film year round. So, you know, that's the main thing on staying disciplined, staying hard on yourself and making sure you got everything straight so you can be the leader that you're supposed to be.
Sanders, you've seen your high school career, your nonstop film watching kind of pay off all this hard work with a college commitment now, getting to go play at the FCS level. Who are other guys maybe on your station camp team that you could see getting that same opportunity?
I'd say, you know, BJ Alexander is one of the guys I know that'll be great at the next level. My little brother Coley, of course, at DN, he'll be great. Kelton Christ, you know, we got some guys. Alec Manning, we got some guys that can really be great at the next level. You know, we got Nick Filbert, no, not Nick Filbert, but Nick Sullivan. We got Duran Riddle. He's our center, and he's going to be a guy for somebody. He's picked up a couple offers, so he's going to be a guy for somebody. It's a real steal.
One more for you here, Sanders, then we'll let you go. What are Murray State fans getting in Sanders Ellis once you get the opportunity to finish out your high school career, walk across that stage, and go play for the Racers next fall?
Yeah, I can say this: they're getting a dog. They're getting somebody that wants to be great, and like I feel like my energy is contagious. My work ethic is contagious. So they're getting somebody that's going to be great and going to make the players around them great. That's what I feel like. They're getting a straight dog, you know.
Our producer, Justin Kulik, just said in the chat, love this guy. I have to agree. Sanders, great stuff today. We really appreciate you taking some time out of your summer break, and enjoy the rest of the dead period before things get started up.
Yes, sir. I thank you.
All right. That was Sanders Ellis, Station Camp linebacker, future Murray State defensive player for the Racers. Great stuff, as we mentioned. We're going to take a break here on the Sumner County Sports Show. Once we come back, we'll give you some Sumner County storylines and wrap up the show for this week. Stay tuned.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
There is nothing better than drinking an ice-cold beverage while taking in a Nashville Sounds baseball game. Hi, I'm Stephanie Miller with Mornings on Main Street. The Nashville Sounds and Main Street Media Television have teamed up to promote Sunday Family Fun Day here at First Horizon Park each Sunday home game. Just go to your favorite Main Street Media website and click on Sounds Main Street Media Day banner to register to win free tickets. And then we'll see you here at the ballpark.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try.
There aren't any cops around. I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Tell me your name, sir. Where you are right now?
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought I was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
The Sumner County Sports Show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. Blaine Keller joining you here after a great interview with Station Camp linebacker Sanders Ellis. Lots of good stuff from him. Loved the discipline talk. Loved the nonstop film watching. And honestly, from a high school player, I've never heard the mentality of wanting to break your opponent down by the second quarter. And it sounds like for a guy his size, he's probably done it more than once. So congrats to him on his commitment to Murray State. Really excited to see what he and the Bison do in his senior season. But now let's get into some Sumner County storylines. As I mentioned at the jump at the start of today's show, we weren't able to have Josh Carman on, but that doesn't mean we can give you a little full count recap, talk a little bit about what's happening with the Rhythm, who stayed in tune through this past week. And honestly, I'm kind of kicking myself that I haven't used that yet, and I haven't said that the Rhythm are in tune. Music pun. Sorry if it went over everybody's head, but full count won 5 of 7 this past week. They scored 6.5 runs a night in that span, still staying atop the standings in the Ohio Valley League. They put up 17 runs on the Hoptown Hoppers last Wednesday, but that wasn't the only way they got things done. They also won a game with defense and pitching, looking at Sunday's 2-0 win over Muhlenberg County for that one. This team's firing on all cylinders. Their biggest flaw at the start of the season was that they were still learning how to get those wood bats going. You get so used to the composite bats, the metal bats, things of that nature, that you just don't know. I guess there's not speaking from experience here, but I am assuming there's a big difference with the wood bat. But, the pitching has been solid since the start, and it continued in that Muhlenberg County game. It's a 2-hit shutout in a 5-inning game. I believe some weather probably got in the way of that one. Things were kind of nasty on Sunday, but just another huge win for the Rhythm. They are still staying hot, and I would almost expect that through the rest of this summer. Secondly, we're looking at a couple more Sumner County College commitments. Station Camp has stayed busy in the recruiting department, not just in their football team, but baseball team as well. 2 Division I players for next season's club. And Tucker Smith, before the end or just at the end of this past spring, he committed to Belmont. Carter Casabella, star pitcher, their soon-to-be ace for next spring, is committed to Tennessee Tech. Noah Rice, their center fielder, outfielder, who was an all Sumner County selection this past year for the baseball team. He has a chance to join Tucker and both of those players, as he's already been offered by Belmont going into his senior season. So you got those 3 baseball players. You got a chance for 3 D1 baseball players on one now Class 4A going down to 3A baseball team. Station Camp's football team, as I mentioned, Sanders Ellis attending Murray State after a 107 tackle junior year. Speaking of baseball, we just released this past week our all Sumner County baseball team, 21 athletes on this year's club. Beach's Cooper Johnson named your pitcher of the year after holding an ERA below 1. Derek Chambliss, his Beach teammate, earned position player of the year. I believe he stole 30 bases. There's only one of 2 players to do that in the county, and I think he hit at or near 400. Just an incredible year for him. But there was a lot of Portland recognition on this year's team, too, due to the fact that no team made it beyond that regional round. Cullen Box was named the 2-way player of the year. That's a UT Martin signee. Seth Doxey, in his first year as Portland head coach, we had him on the show during the spring. He was named coach of the year. And, of course, Beach being the team that won the most games and made it, I guess, tied for the farthest among all county teams. They are your team of the year. And, of course, today, be sure to check your Hendersonville Standard, Gallatin News, and Main Street Preps websites. Our all Sumner County track and field team just dropped, and that'll come out in next Thursday's paper, so stay tuned and look at that as well. One more storyline, then we'll get you out of here. Hendersonville and Beach student, former Austin Dulay, is set to fight July 22nd at Nashville's Municipal Auditorium in a boxing match. As a matter of fact, I will show you the poster. There's a little bit of a low-res poster there that you can look at. July 22nd, the Fighting Pride of the 615. Be on the lookout. We've got a great story coming up on Dulay and his family and the boxing gym that they occupy in Sumner County, doing a lot of good things in the community for some of the younger generation. That about does it, though. That's all that's happening here in the first week of July. Of course, it's kind of hard to give you so many storylines whenever we're looking at the dead period where coaches and players can't really interact. You know, you've got to you're forced to rest a little bit before spending the next 3 or 4 months on the gridiron. So, all of that's happening or not happening, so to speak. And it'll be fun to watch all that kick back up next week and begin our work for our Sumner County Football Preview Magazine, which will be loaded with great content this year. Thank you so much for watching this week's Sumner County Sports Show. Of course, as always, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. Thank you to Sanders Ellis and Justin Kulik, our great producer, for another great show today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.